Throughout the weeks, we've been focusing on the art of being one with self, ridding ourselves of any negativity that might fill our minds. So we thought, let us look into the art of yoga. Hey?
Well, it's a group of physical, mental, and spiritual practices that improves one's well-being. But for more on this, we are joined by Jo Gibbon, Jivamukti yoga teacher from Living Yoga. She's in studio to chat to us, and also there are a few demonstrators to show us exactly how to be one and move with the flow. Good morning, Jo. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Liesl. Hi, Jacob.
Now tell me something, Jo. A lot of people think of yoga as like, it's a boring thing, it's a slow old people thing, but it turns out that yoga is something that anyone could adapt to, and it could help anyone who practices yoga.
Well, there's many different styles, and there's some slower styles, and then there's some more faster kick-ass styles. So you also got to find your kind of yoga that keeps you coming back. So the slower styles are good for people who need to really focus and very deliberate, lots of alignment. And then there's flowing styles where you get to move quite fast. It's more like a dance, like martial arts. And for some people, they need that. They need a little bit more vima.
So you mentioned there are different styles of yoga. On our screens right now, we can see some of the demonstrators doing...
They're doing Surya.
You're doing the sun salute.
Surya Namaskar, that's what they do.
Surya Namaskar.
Surya Namaskar. So Surya means sun, and Namaskar means salutations or repetitions or salute to. So they're getting warm, they're heating their bodies, so it's going to be useful for the rest of their practice.
I see.
Okay, cool. And then in terms of the different styles, I mean, how has the discipline been categorized? I've never actually heard of your type of practice, but I mean, I know there are various kinds.
Yeah, so all types of yoga are Hatha yoga.
Oh, okay.
Ha meaning sun and Tha meaning moon. So each style balances sun and moon, masculine, feminine, yin, yang. They're all balancing yogas. But there is there's power yoga, there's vinyasa, there's Bikram yoga with the heated yoga,
That is intense.
there's Ashtanga, there's so many styles. And there's also been lots of splintering groups, but it all comes from the same essence. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika, same poses, just different ways of kind of presenting it. Yeah.
And someone like me who is a beginner or doesn't know
Yeah.
anything about yoga, what's the best way to start? What yoga would I be practicing if I was starting?
Just start.
Just start.
It's what we all did. You flounder around a little bit. Like, you have to be new at something. And it's a journey. That's the thing about yoga. It's not a yoga perfect, it's a yoga practice. You are continually doing it. And if you did it for 3 sessions and then you were brilliant at yoga, you get bored and you go off and do Zumba or something else. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lifetime practice. So I've been doing it for 12 years. I still feel like I'm a beginner. I still feel like,
What would you say are some of the added benefits for someone who does exercise and wants to incorporate yoga or just wants to do yoga? I mean, it's holistic at the end of the day.
It is. It's moving breath and body. So when you exercise, you're moving your body a lot, but it's not very mindful. We tend to put in our iPods, we listen to music, we try and distract ourselves from the process. But when you're practicing yoga, you're really getting into your body, you're really getting into meeting your mind, meeting yourself, going, oh, look at me being challenged and trying to run away and disappear. And, so yoga brings everything into balance, it brings everything into focus, and it makes it a mindful practice, which, I mean, most of your sportsmen will be using those practices because it's that gives you the edge. It gives you, in your life, that gives you the edge of I'm not just gonna let life sweep me away. I'm present, I'm here. I'm noticing that I'm getting angered or triggered or sad or whatever. It's not gonna stop, but at least you have some tools, to deal with that stuff because you've spent some time with your body, with your mind, and encounter that. Yeah.
Now, if anyone out there is watching and they want to get in touch with you, how do they go about doing it? And another question, is having a weekly yoga lesson expensive? Is it looked at as expensive?
So, no, in this country, yoga is very accessible in terms of price, and most studios will have packages. So the more lessons that you take, the less you'll pay. They're also trying to get you to commit, because the yoga, again, the practice is you're not gonna get really into the practice if you only practice once every 2 weeks. 3 days a week minimum. You need to really see your body like change, to really get into the yogic space.
I think it's something that worth noting. It's good to have an instructor, because I know that if you do things on your own, sometimes you can align in the wrong way. I mean, what are some of those misconceptions about people who just go online and get videos, etc., without a proper teacher and guidance?
I think anything that gets people on their mats is fantastic. But yes, to go to a studio, like I teach at Living Yoga, which is in Craig Hall, Johannesburg. You have a teacher who can watch and go, oh, hang on, let me help you with that back foot. Oh, no, you're meant to feel it here. You know, and they can really guide you, and they can also see when you're checking out. Whereas when at home, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna quickly do this, and oh, just check my phone, and do you know what I mean? So when you're in a studio, that doesn't happen. You get your 90 minutes or 60 minutes of focus time and someone guiding that, which is really special.
So very accessible, not too expensive. Everybody clearly should be doing yoga.
Yeah, we should be making the world a better place, full of much better humans who are mindful and really, you know, calm, centered, and you know, you're learning how to stand on the planet. You're learning how to be in your body.
I'm also thinking beyond the mindfulness. I mean, your diet also becomes impacted as well once you embark in such a practice. I know that happened to me. Walk us through some of those associated benefits that you get to learn when it's during this holistic approach.
Yeah. So the style that I teach, my teachers are very big animal activists. So, and yoga is a very ancient practice probably from India. It's so ancient that everybody's not exactly sure of the roots.
Yeah.
But a vegetarian diet is encouraged because the minute you're eating meat, you're eating food that sits in your body. It gets quite stagnant, and when you start to twist and go upside down, that's where this whole meme about like I go to yoga and I try to hold my farts in. That's like
Yeah, it's true.
And also, I mean, if we were eating less meat, then we would use less of the planet's resources. So that's very much involved in the style that I teach. But in general, yoga makes you more aware of your body as a vessel, as something that is carrying you through your everyday. So you want that vessel to be light and healthy. So instead of like practicing yoga and then going for McDonald's, it's more likely you're going to go and like, oh, I want a smoothie, or I want some fruit, or I want to like eat a beautiful diet today because I'm aware of my body, rather than just like, I need fuel, eat whatever.
Jo, thank you for your time. We really appreciate this. Again, the studio where you're based is called?
Living Yoga.
Living Yoga. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Jo Gibbon, Jivamukti yoga teacher from Living Yoga, joining us in studio. And we've also seen a yoga demonstration. Yeah, that looked quite...
There were about 4 of them this morning doing a sun salutation.
Yes, and yeah, that brings us to the end of the segment.